That
Wow,
was
that was powerful.
so yummy.
Hi guys, welcome back to Barbie Talks. I am your real and raw Barbie, giving you everything real and raw. And today we have a very special guest, okay? Miss Timmesha and Miss Burgess, if you're nasty, if you're real nasty, okay? Because we gotta tone it down, real nasty.
Oh,
She is the author of her personal book called Activate, the Unorthodox Philosophies that Explore Anxiety, Depression, and Suicidal Thoughts as a symptom of suppressed superpower. She also got her merch, Pussy Power, okay, and other various things to get you right. But besides those amazing things, she is a personal development consultant, a sexual educator, and of course, how I found her, how we are here, the creator of Alcheminity, because turning your pain into power is sexy. So, no further
mm.
ado, the myth, the legend, Miss Burgess. Come on,
What a fucking introduction. Can I
please,
say fucking? Okay.
please.
Because you know I gotta ask. I asked you before we pre-recorded. I said, whatever comes up, y'all. Deasia and I were chatting before we decided to, I guess, share with you. And I said, girl, can I curse? Because what comes up comes out. So thank you for letting me have my way. And thank you for that amazing introduction. Thank you for that. It means a lot. I'm happy to be here and I'm ready to get
Well,
this shit
do, well,
on. Yeah.
do. Please tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Before we
Yeah.
dive into it, you guys know I'm extremely, extremely big on giving people their roses while they are here, while you're in contact with them. I think that's one of the biggest disservices we do as a community. We do not lift each other up. And when we have moments like this, really tell people the work you're doing is monumental and powerful. So I just want to,
Mhm.
again, just want to say thank you for everything you're doing, the effort you're putting in, and also just being a powerful role model and just showing like you can get it, you can hustle, you can do what you need to do, and you can flip your life around. Okay.
Mm,
So
Ashe.
please feel free. The floor is yours to talk a little bit more about your platform, talk a little bit more about you.
Yeah. Well, I think you did a great job already. And, for folks who want to kind of Google who I am, you can do that too. But my work is in sensuality and sexuality, and I my work is in bridging the gap between mental health and sexuality education. I think for too long, women have been misguided about our bodies. There is miscommunication about what sexuality means. Sex and sexuality are categorically different. And I work to redefine what that looks like for personal development, mental health, emotional intelligence. I have a bachelor's in sociology, a master's in psychology,
Come
fellow
on.
fellow
Come on.
psychologists are talking to here. And I decided to go on and earn a certification as a sexuality educator as well, because I felt guided to do so for the work that I was doing. It wasn't enough for people to see that I had a bachelor's and a master's. People, I think, also respect the fact that I did my due diligence to at least get the foundations together. But I'm not here to teach about sex. Typically when people get certified in sexuality education, they're there to teach about how to put it on Tyrone. That's not what I do. I teach you about how to put it on yourself
Come
in more
on.
ways than one. In more ways than one. So, bridging sexuality and mental health and emotional intelligence and fill in the blank is what led me here to Barbie Talks. So, I'm excited to be here. I'm also a published author.
Come
Deasia
on.
just mentioned. And I don't even like to say a book that I wrote. I like to say a book that was written through me.
Ooh.
I'm a vessel. So everything that is written in the book was some things that were channeled through me, were things that were channeled through me when I was on my spiritual journey, my dark night of the soul journey, the Phoenix Rising journey, you name it. So yes, it's titled Activate, Unorthodox Philosophies that Explore Anxiety, Depression, and Suicidal Thoughts as Symptoms of Suppressed Superpower. I believe that most of us who experience what we think is anxiety or depression or suicidal thoughts are really the suppressions of something much more formidable and powerful. And I talk about that in Activate. So very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. I mean, as you guys already hear, she's a very powerful woman. And don't let me, I ain't saying the degrees on accident, but we don't not play about degrees over here. You put your time, and that is a respective thing. So, once again, just want to give you your claps for everything you have done. But we're going to slide into, I know y'all see the title of this episode called P Power. And she already kind of clocks y'all that it's not what you think it is.
Mm,
Okay. Cue
mm,
the gunner
mm.
song because let's really dive into it. So we're gonna dive into what I like to have and call three P's, which is P power. Your pain, the actual power, and your pussy. Okay. So, but not your actual physical being of it, but the spirituality of it, the root chakra, as many of us like to say it in this divine realm of really the base of creation. I think as women, before we dive into the first one, as women, we have to understand we are literal vessels of creation. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I don't know how many times I have to repeat this, but
Yeah.
we are literally able to transport a human being out of us. We are
Ashe.
we are power. So we'll get to that to the P. That was a little teaser because I know she got a lot to say about that. But to get into the pain aspect, I know we talked about this a bit in the pre-chat, but who
Ooh,
pain,
so much came out in the pre-chat.
pain,
Yeah.
pain. I feel like that's just how it is. That's transparently
Yeah.
how it is when you start to have these real and raw conversations about pain. Sometimes you have to
Yeah.
take that pause because when you're so in tune with your feelings or you're going through this phoenix and the rising and
Yeah.
you're going through this awakening, it's so heavy. So I
Yes.
please take the floor because we know I can talk.
Well, so, but in our pre-chat, I remember you mentioning the word flawless.
Mm.
And I want to bring that up to your audience as well. Shouts out to your audience, by the way. Hello. We're so glad that
Hey.
you're but you mentioned flawless in the pre-chat, and my response was, oh no, this journey is full of flaws,
Yes.
right? The so-called flaws or the pain and the traumas is really what brought us here. You know, it's why I decided to allow myself to be a vessel so a book could be written through me.
Yeah.
It's why, we start podcasts like Barbie Talks and, my YouTube channel, Alcheminity. It's why I decided to create merch, Pussy Power, as you mentioned earlier, and Fear of Feminine Power is a mental disorder. So it all stems from pain. Honestly, Deisha, without pain, we wouldn't have shit to talk about.
Nothing. And
We
I
wouldn't have anything to talk about. We wouldn't have anything to write about. We wouldn't have anything to create. I think about some of my favorite singers, we'll say modern day Adele. Adele blew the fuck up over writing an album about heartbreak, right? That's what the greatest of our times have created from pain,
yes.
right? Yes, it sucked. Yes, it was hard. Yes, it was heartbreaking. Yes, it pissed you off. Yeah, it was wrong. Yeah, it was fucked up, right? It
Mm.
was hard. But once you're on this journey of finding out who and what you are and why you came to this planet, you realize that that's fuel for some type of fire that you haven't unleashed yet.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to clarify with the audience, for people who don't know what the phoenix rising from the ashes is and what that metaphor means, please
Yeah.
explain to us a bit about that and your perspective
Ooh.
on it and how that kind of coincides with what you also just talked about.
Yeah. The Phoenix Rising, and I think your audience probably many of your audience members probably are on this journey. Many of folks that come to our committee are on this journey or just came out of it. But the Phoenix Rising is the Dark Night of the Soul Odyssey, right? You have gone through very difficult things in your life. Everything around you that could go wrong probably went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You had to walk away from relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, jobs, careers, ways of being, thinking, family members you had to walk away from, places you've lived, you had to walk. So the Phoenix, what it does is it burns everything around it that it thought it was. It burns everything within itself that it thought it was
Mm.
in order to rise, right? The Phoenix has to die
Come on.
in order to be reborn, right? So you have probably died. Those of you who are listening to this have probably died many times, many, many deaths. And I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, emotionally, energetic deaths
Yes.
that you could do two things. You could just die, or you could choose to answer a calling, which would require you to rise. And so the phoenix rising is exactly that. So the phoenix bird is this fiery bird that rises up into the dawn of its new days. It literally kills itself as many times as necessary in order to birth and bring forth what it's been called to bring forth in the world.
Yes.
And so if you are phoenixes here, which if you're part of Dacia's podcast, I'm sure that you are reborn. And this is your rebirth. So that's the Phoenix rising journey.
And I really wanted her to share that with you guys because I know in the past I've spoken about giving yourself grace. And that's really, in my eyes, the pinnacle of giving the grace. Because sometimes you don't even realize you're in that phoenix. You're working through this stuff. You're figuring out what you want. You're figuring out this personality you want to embody. You're figuring out, okay, what's my next step to just get to where I feel like I can breathe, get to where I feel like I can get to my next step. And that's all a part of the phoenix. That's all a part of that rebirth, that death, and that setting yourself up to walk into this new path. So understanding that not only this is not linear, it's not, our paths don't look the same, your path's not going to look the same, my path's not going to look the same, anyone who's listening's path is not going to look the same, but giving yourself grace through that time and understanding the value of what you're doing and how if you do it properly, or even if you're just open, you won't have to keep going through it again. It will get easier. You'll be able to know, like, okay, I know what's going on right now. I'm shedding it. Like, let me go next. I know for me right now, I think I'm in my second season of rising. I think this is the season for me where it's okay, now we have this foundation, we have all of this information, which many of us do. We're freaking suppressed, not even suppressed, we're suffocated by it on social media. If you're on the personal development side of how to do this, how to act this way, and hearing all of these different thoughts, many of us can feel so suffocated and so paralyzed of, okay, what do I do next? Or you're working through it and you're having that second season of rising. So I want it to be known
Yeah,
that you are aligned.
yeah. You're right. I think we are inundated with
Mm.
folks who are sharing their perspective, and I get it. Everybody, like you said, everybody's journey is different. People are sharing from their place of understanding, right? But a lot of that is really superficial too. It's I don't know. It's just, okay, we know you can go get your hair done and take deep breaths. Okay. To make yourself feel better, or, put on this lipstick to make yourself feel better. And, people trying to sell you lipstick, or this foundation and it'll make whatever it is. It's all these outward expressions of wellness or well-being or whatever it is. But my journey took me inside, and on the outside, that was not pretty. There's nothing pretty about this type of path. It's ugly. You cry ugly. You're in fetus positions. Okay, it's not running down your nose. Sometimes your hair ain't done. Sometimes you're not putting on no fucking makeup.
Just
Okay.
getting by and just you getting by is you understanding, okay, I just came over that. I just worked through that. That's going to be so much to fuel you that you don't feel like you need to go in front of the mirror and put on makeup or get yourself together because you're like, whew,
No.
I just
Yeah,
worked myself out of a limiting belief. I just worked myself out of something I was conditioned. That's so much more fulfilling.
that part. And even more attractive, right? Because now um
Radiating.
you're radiating, right? This is on an energetic and intrinsic level. And so that starts to show up outwardly. So now that you have this good juiciness going on inside, right? You got over that hump, you've healed this thing, you've done the inner child work, whatever, fill in the blank, then you're like, okay, now I understand why I want to do my hair today. Because I'm feeling great. Now I do want to put on a little lipstick and a little perfume because I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
So your outside will literally start reflecting what you are inside. Even if you didn't put on any lipstick or whatever, people would still see the work that you're doing because you're doing it within. People can feel that. And I love when India Ari says, you see, the truth, it needs no
Come
proof.
on.
Either it is or it isn't. And you know the truth by the way it
By the
feels,
way it
right?
feels,
You
yes.
know this is the way it feels. So even if I didn't put this on, you would see me and you would feel me. You would feel the work that I continue to do within. That is how this energy works. That is the journey of a phoenix rising.
Yes. And I kind of want to put us a little off track because this is something that I'm trying to bang into everyone's head that is listening. Exactly what she just said to us is the epitome of why you do not seek validation outside of you. Because immediately when you do that, you release that power, and everything that you've just done for yourself has now just been diminished, and you've given that to someone else that doesn't even know what you have done, the work you've put in, your life journey, and it becomes less fulfilling. And
Mm-hmm.
being able to wake up in the morning and feel strictly fulfilled just from yourself is the ultimate power that people don't want you to have.
Mm-hmm.
If you can
Mm-hmm.
just walk around and just know you're good on your own and you don't need anyone to say yes, no, maybe, so do this, do that, don't do, that's terrifying in a world.
Yeah, it is. It can be for sure. I see the yin and yang in everything. And once you get to this point of knowing who you are and not needing validation, that's when it comes to you anyway.
Mm,
Like when
yes, yes.
when you're not looking for it and when you're looking for it and needing it, you couldn't get it anywhere. Okay. But as soon as you get into that, your place of power within, it starts to come to you and you're not asking for it. So, I do think some external validation is necessary, is healthy. I do.
I
Not that
agree
you're
with that.
looking for it. Yeah, not that you're looking for it, but when you get it, it's really just a reflection of, again, the work you're already doing on yourself. So
Mhm.
when somebody tells you, when somebody does validate something about you, whether it's your intelligence or the way you look or something you got on, they like your hair or your skin is glowing, all right, it's because of the work you're doing in and on yourself, and they're just giving you confirmation,
Just
you
reflecting
know?
it back to you.
Yeah,
Yes, and I
yeah,
actually love that clarification because that goes back to life is a mirror from within. So
yeah.
when you're walking in this full totality, you're seeing everything being reflected back to you, which is why before you had that moment and before you were so confident in yourself, you were able to see the insecurities within yourself. You were able to see your wrongdoing. You were able to see where you were lacking. So understanding that you're living the same life but in a shifted mind and in an elevated perspective of knowing who you are and knowing your worth, like the power, our next P, power, okay, the power within you is so, it's nauseating for people. I'm going to say that it makes people sick. Okay. When you have that power and you just stand and walk with your shoulders back and just know I'm here, this is my room, I'm supposed to be here, that makes people sick because
Mhm.
people are not feeling that way about themselves.
Some people, for sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, some people, some people.
yeah. And I, you know, mm, to people who aren't, like you said, to people who aren't energetically aligned to themselves, you are a mirror, right? So you're showing people either the work they are doing on themselves or the lack thereof
Mm-hmm.
when you're in your power. And so when you show up in a room, like you said, there are going to be people that are going to either love you for that power or hate you for that power, only because they haven't done the work in themselves. People that do this work on and in themselves, when they see you, they see a reflection of them. So they honor that. They worship that shit. They praise it. You know why? Because they know the work it takes.
Exactly, exactly. And they have that unspoken respect for you. This goes back
Yeah.
to the there's no, when you're on this energetic level, there's no such thing as competition. There ain't
No,
no, you're not competing with nobody. There's
no,
nothing that someone else is doing that you're even like turning an eye to. You're just like,
no,
yes, yes, you did this. Great. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. Your accomplishment is my accomplishment. Like
literally,
point blank,
literally.
period.
Yeah, because you know how tough it is to get to that certain vibrational frequency to even manifest that thing or look that way or walk that way or talk that way or write that way or speak that way. You honor that type of path. You honor that type of journey. And competitiveness doesn't exist because it would be it will contradict what this energy really is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The energy can't when you're at a certain frequency, certain things just cannot exist at that frequency. It just can't exist. It's
Exactly.
kind of like trying to it's like trying to listen to R&B on a hip hop station
Mm-hmm.
or a jazz station, right? You're on jazz, but you're trying to hear it. It's not the right frequency, so it can't exist.
Yeah.
True power recognizes power. And again, it just wants to connect with it. It wants to merge with it. It wants to link up with it, just kind of like this right here, right? This is not, this competitiveness couldn't exist here because we are not on that vibrational frequency. And
Yeah.
our work on this path is not on that vibrational frequency. We know that collaboration is key. We know that you cannot do this alone. If you compete, you are a fool because you're not supposed to be on this path alone. You're supposed to be with other workers on this journey who are doing the same thing or somewhat doing the same thing, and you link up and you do it together. Because if you try to do it alone, being in competition, I'm better, I'm doing it, that's the surest way to get yourself smited out the game,
Mm.
right? You wouldn't have anyone around you walking with you, fighting with you, defending with you, standing with you. You
Yes.
would be alone and you would be taken out. So for people who are in competition, just know that you're easy pickings because
Mm.
you are alone. Nobody will stand with you.
Mm.
No one will walk with you.
And I think
You're
that was
easy pickings.
also very powerful because when you act in that manner, you also lose your power by saying, by immediately being in this competition spirit. You just took away
Yes.
all your power. You just, they
Yes.
said, I'm not worth it. I don't have the power. Like, why would you even do that to yourself? And
Ooh.
yeah, that's a
Good.
powerful statement itself. And there's so many things that I think, especially like I know when I listen to your episodes, I'm like, I know this triggers someone because when you speak at someone at such a high regard and they don't think of themselves that way, they get triggered.
Oh
They
yeah.
immediately think, oh, what? So it's like if someone's in a
Oh,
competition spirit hearing what we're saying, they're gonna be like, oh, this, and it's like,
oh yeah.
there's no,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
this, that. You are so powerful. I would never even try to compete with you because our frequencies. Why would I do
Mm,
that? Your path is your path. My path is mine. But I would love to network with you, talk to you, hear your knowledge, hear your story, because there's so much
mm,
power in that.
indeed. Thank you for that. First, thank you for that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, when I first started, yin and yang is when I first started, the kind of comments I was getting. Okay, so now let me start with the good and then I'll end with the other part. So
Please go
now,
ahead.
folks are to get emails and DMs and comments from people in India or Africa or Asia saying things like, you helped save my life. This video saved my life. What you just said saved my life.
Mm. Ooh.
You know,
Yeah.
and that is why I answered the calling, right? But when I first started, um, those weren't the type of comments I was getting, you know? It was I'm evil, I'm wicked, I'm a devil worshiper, I psychotic. Those are the type of comments that people used to post under some of the stuff especially when I posted stuff about pro-choice. People really hated that shit, you know, men and women. So, sorry, I'm getting emotional, girl.
No, I
So,
feel it. I'm with you. As a creator, I'll just give this to like, give
yeah,
yourself a
yeah,
second.
yeah.
As a
Thank you.
creator, you guys really have to understand like being on this path and doing what we're doing is not easy.
Mm-mm.
It's not easy. We're speaking against the crowd, we're speaking against society, we're speaking against things that have been conditioned to take us away from our power. So I'm with you. My eyes is watering over here too because I it's hard. It's hard to
It
push through that.
it is in the beginning stages. It is. Once you make it over that hump and you've burned away, right? The phoenix rising, we were talking about that earlier, and you actually are rising now, that kind of stuff falls off. And if it exists in very small increments. And
Mm,
it exists at a level you don't even see it anymore because you're so risen now.
I need to hear that.
Okay. Woo. And that's the truth. That's the truth. So now the comments, the type of people that are coming in are the people who my stuff is meant for anyway. It was never meant for what I talk about. I know it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for everybody, right? The fact that you're talking about pain and power and pussy, that topic alone, yes, like you said, would be very triggering for people who are not on this journey of awakening or knowing themselves.
Mm,
If you're on the journey of true activation, you would see that this title and you would be like, yeah, this is it. This is my language. This is where I belong. This is what I've been waiting for. But people whose path this isn't for, they would smite it. They would turn away from it. It would be something so what we do and what we talk about is only for chosen people. It's only for people who are here to do amazing things, life altering, world altering things. And so it isn't easy when we're first breaking through that shell ourselves. It's not. But as you continue to walk this path, it feels easier because you are attracting in the people it was meant for. You are attracting in your tribe, your colony, your society, or whatever you want to call it.
I
And
affirm.
there are people who are like, yeah, they're so you're not alone anymore. Because when you first start on this path, it's even more difficult because you're alone, right? Even when your family will like start to think, this bitch done lost her mind. She crazy. What's she talking about? Talking about pussy and demons and spirituality and all this. What is she talking about? People who closest to you would think you're crazy. So you start off alone, which makes it very, very difficult until the right tribe of people align with who you are.
Yes, that was a lot. That was a lot. I actually really want everyone to just take a moment to process everything.
Mhm.
Oh, hold on. LOL.
Oh, let me silence mine too, just in case.
I sure did silence mine, but someone got through. Okay, we're here. Um,
mm, mm.
what?
It was something about that what you just said, girl. It was something about that what you just said. I don't know, but sometimes it's that way. Sometimes it's that way. Sometimes someone gets through. I don't know who that's meant for. Maybe one of your listeners.
Mm.
Sometimes someone gets through. That's
And you want
supposed
to
to
know
get through.
what's Oh my, when I get moments like this, I actually get chills because it's actually
Yes.
so funny. I was putting my phone on do not disturb, and I made sure when I went in the settings, I had no contacts, and the contact was my mom, of course.
Oh,
So it was my mom, and I forgot to
hey
take her
mom,
off.
if she
Hi,
watches
mama. I forgot to take her off that she like bypasses it, and she was the one that called.
Oh, well, mamas, they get a pass. Our mamas get a pass.
But still, take that how it resonates. If
But
someone
take it how, yes.
is talking to somebody who's slipping through or something is slipping through, just
Mm.
stay on your P's and Q's, because spirits work fast. Omniscient forces work faster. They know how to work through people to get to you. So stay vigilant, stay
Both
strong.
ways. Both ways. That could be taken good or not.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for
Sometimes.
clocking me.
Okay, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program.
Regular scheduled program. Oh, we talked about the pain, the power. Now let's get into the pussy, okay? Because y'all got it all wrong. Y'all got it wrong. A lot of people have it wrong, and that's okay. And that is okay. But we're here. Miss Burgess is here to tell us the truth, okay?
Well,
Please start us off. Go ahead.
okay, where do I begin? Spirit, where would you like to begin? Highest self, lower. Matter of fact, pussy, where would you like to begin? Um, that's how powerful your pussy is. You can talk to it, and if you listen, it talks back. Okay. This is what I've learned on this journey, right? So I first came into the knowledge, the ancient knowledge about pussy power, obviously on the spiritual journey, on the Phoenix Rising journey, on the Dark Night of the Soul journey. You're asking all the questions, right? Like when you're in the darkness of your life, you ask all the questions. You know how they say you're not supposed to like religious ideas, or you're not supposed to question God. You're not supposed to, well, I question God, right? I question everything about my life, about myself, about everything. And the voice that answered back was my pussy. And people ask, like, where did that come from? Like, how do you know? What does that mean? Well, I wrote an article, one of my first articles. It was titled, "What Else Can You Do with Your Sensual and Sexual Power Other Than Pour It Out on Tyrone?" And the wisdom of pussy power came to me when I was practicing celibacy and abstinence, and or abstinence, whatever term you want to use interchangeably. People use them interchangeably. So it came to me when I decided to pull back my sexual energy from relationships, because I was trying to figure out who I was, what I am, and why I'm here on this planet. That was the most important thing to me. So during celibacy, like when you are abstaining, you know, I'm not, when I say celibacy and abstinence, I'm not talking about the shit we were taught about waiting for marriage and waiting for the one. Not that. Okay. This isn't that type of journey. This is purely you pulling back your energy so that you can figure out who you are. Right. Um, so when I pull back my energy, I came into this knowledge about the power of pussy and how we've, as women, have been taught the wrong idea about it, how it has nothing to do with putting it on Tyrone or Mike or Larry or whatever it is.
Not Mike, not Mike, not
Mike Larry, Mike Larry, right? It has nothing to do with putting it on some guy and hoping you can get him to take you shopping. All right. It's the lowest form in which your power can be used, truly. So, pussy power is purely energy. All right. Earlier, you mentioned we're not talking about this on a physical level. We're not. It's just purely energy. It's an ancient, formidable energy. It is God energy. Everything that has been created with sensual and sexual energy. Everything is sensual and sexual.
Yes.
Okay? Every form of life or manifestation is created through sensual and sexual energy. And so I started to ask the question, well, if I can bring life from the spirit world to the physical world through my body out of my pussy, right? Then what else can I bring? What else can I birth into being other than just pouring it out and putting it on somebody? Like, this is life creating energy here. So what other life form can I create? How can I channel this? And so I wrote that article. I did an IG live, and it was somebody on there. I don't know. I can't remember. They sent an email after, but somebody on there, they mentioned, they said, I'm sorry. I'm saying I don't know who that was. I know exactly who it was. Is a girl named Crystal Bartholomew, a woman named Crystal Bartholomew. She mentioned that she was able to start her uh, pilot school because she created a pilot program, that she was able to start her business and her pilot school, get her pilot's license, all from the power of her pussy. And so what this means is you are able to channel and awaken this formidable ancient power, which is God energy, to do more with it than just fuck with it. Okay. I hope your mama doesn't watch this, because I don't want her to be like, oh my God, baby.
We're gonna cut the mentioning her
podcast, sugar. Huh?
She'll be okay.
She'll be okay. Sorry, girl, but this is what it is. So that's the question. That's the idea. What else can you do with this power other than fuck it away? And I'm hearing Solange song. I tried to sex
Yes,
it
I tried
away.
to take it away.
Okay.
Put the
Focus.
just a little bit.
Yes, that right there, right? She said it in her song. She said, I tried to uh sex it away, and it
Mm-hmm.
didn't make it any better. And I just love it, because that's what this is, right? Um so that led me to do work with girls, and women as well, but I started off with girls because a lot of us have experienced sexual trauma. Some of your, listeners may have experienced some sort of sexual trauma. And the question so many people ask was, how do you recover from that? Like, how do you heal from that? And part of how you heal from that is discovering and uncovering what sexual energy really is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are not powerless just because you experience some sort of sexual trauma. That actually means it's actually a reflection of how powerful you are. So powerful that that person or those people, whoever it was that did the violating, they sense this power in you and were trying to usurp it. Many attempt to usurp this power when we're very, very young. Okay. Well, earlier you mentioned that there are energies that can use people to get to you or get through to you. This is how this energy works too. So the opposing forces, for those of us who experience sexual trauma in our childhood, they tried to smite this energy when we were young in hopes that we wouldn't grow into who and what we are and why we came to this planet. And part
Mm-hmm.
of minimizing and destroying, especially the feminine energy, is through sexual exploitation,
Mm.
because that's where our power lives and lies.
Right.
Okay. So in the book that was written through me, titled Activate, okay, I break down why you feel powerless and how you can regain this power. And not just regain it, how you can reawaken it, because you already have it. So I'm not going to say regain. You already have it. It's just a matter of reawakening it and reactivating
Yes.
it and getting it to channel through your body, and listening to its guidance. But yeah, sexual trauma really just puts this power to sleep. It can't take it. It just puts it to sleep. And then as you grow and evolve, it is your job to reawaken it and use it wisely. This is why I use the term activate wisely, right? Once you reawaken it, once you activate it, use it wisely. It is your power.
Did y'all hear that? That was a lot, okay? In the most, ooh, I really hope whoever needed to hear that is here, because that was very powerful. I think so many small things that I wanted to touch on about what you said, but just reclaiming that power, once again, it's that taking it back. You are not powerless, you are actually powerful. And these situations that make us feel so powerless, it's funny because then in retrospect, you see the power within yourself. You see the power that you have, and you see the power that you can start to embody to even expand this more.
Yes.
And it's such a disservice that there aren't these resources. I don't want to say there aren't these resources, but the resources that are readily available or that people have near them, or maybe the people they have near them aren't as comforting and aren't giving them that perspective that can make somebody feel super defeated or make them feel worthless or make them feel as if they're super small, because you're so powerful, you're so beautiful, you have so much for you. And it's such a disservice that something so wicked and nasty can just really break someone down that was just this amazing spirit. So I really do hope, I'm not going to go too deep in that because I know that's a really triggering thing for some people, and you said enough, but I hope whoever that needs to resonate with, that it resonated with. But I also really appreciated what you were speaking about of just the sensuals part of it. We're our power is in our femininity, right? And our power is in our sensuality. So this hypersexualization that social media is portraying to be fun and how you get it, or how you get this or how you get that, or just our culture, I really want us also to understand that we're giving our power away. More is better. You do not have to be doing so much, be super sensual in the way of putting yourself out there and being vulgar with it, because
less is more. You said more is better, or
like being, say, like, for example, maybe being more covered up or being some like they always say less is more, but you have to know what space you're in to understand what flows for you. I think I would love to know your thoughts about this. I think in our society right now, we're confusing sexy with sex appeal.
Oh, yes.
And
Good one.
I think
Good one.
sex appeal, I look at it as just so powerful. A woman who's confident herself, knows her worth, knows her sexual power, and knows when to use it, and knows how to use it, and know that it is not this overly exaggerated thing where everyone's kind of having access to her power, but yet
Yes.
she's using it to gain and get to where she needs to go because she sees the power in it.
Yes. So I would put sexy and sex appeal in the same category.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
But people do, to add to that, yeah, people definitely confuse sexy or sex appeal with sex.
There we go.
And I understand why. I mean, so on the pre-chat, I mentioned that sex and sexuality and now sex appeal are categorically the same, but they're fundamentally different, right? So there are some people who use their sexy and sex appeal just for
Mm-hmm.
sex, you know,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. I'm not a, I don't judge that, but they use it just for sex. That's it. And then there are those of us on this journey who activate our sex appeal and our sexuality, i.e., sexual energy, i.e., Kundalini energy, i.e., divine feminine energy, i.e., root chakra energy, i.e., God, goddess energy, for more reasons than just penetration, right? For more reasons than
Mm-hmm.
just having sex.
Then material things as well.
Material things, but in that too, but and healing yourself, right? um Finding out what your purpose and your mission is. Your sexual energy is your God energy, and it teaches you and trains you and reminds you of why you're here. If you awaken it and activate it and commune with it and listen to it, it will guide you in what your purpose and your powers are. It um it will guide you on what your talents are, what your skills are, what your abilities are. It will help you write that song, write that book, start a podcast, whatever it is. That's what you activate this energy for. And so I am a firm believer that sex work is work. That could be a whole,
I am as well.
yeah, firm believer sex work is work. I respect it. I really do. And that's a whole nother conversation. But um, if it's just sex that you're using this energy for, then it's like cutting off the head of the snake, of when the kundalini is rising up and you're feeling aroused. If the only thing you know to do with yourself when you're aroused is to have sex, then you just lack the wisdom of what this energy really is and what it can do.
Mm.
Because as soon as you feel aroused, you feel horny, you feel like, oh, I want to go. Let me call Mike. Let me call Tyrone. Let me whatever. It's like cutting off the head of your power. So commune with yourself for a little bit. Let yourself be aroused. What can your arousal, what can being turned on do for you? So to your listeners who are listening to this, let that be a practice. The next time you feel aroused, and you can feel aroused for any reason, for whatever reason, allow yourself to commune with that feeling of arousal and ask it what it
Mm.
wants to do. And I guarantee you, it won't just be to call Mike or to call Tyrone. You won't call Tyrone. You might
Come
call him your
on, come on,
don't
come
call
on.
him.
Don't call him.
Don't
Don't.
call him. Okay.
But
Hold out for a little bit.
I love that you said this, because there's been, as I've been doing my research and I've been just really thinking about what life means to me, I've been seeing so many different things of how this sexual energy is actually exactly creative energy. This is
Yep.
directly tied to creative energy. It's directly tied to self. And
Yes.
you can also just see that within relationships, the soul ties, how when people get with someone and how you have this exchange of energies, it's not coincidental. So I brought up that subtopic because, going back to the topic of pussy power, this is what we're talking about. This is the basis of it. This is the root of it. It is your creative energy. It can call you, can push you into where you need to go. And I'm
Yeah.
still a person in general, just learning about everything, learning about life, learning about everything under the sun. So this doesn't end. And I'm sure you can attest to that
Mhm.
too, that you still learn so many new things about yourself every single
Yeah.
day, just
Oh yeah.
within that power. But
Oh yeah.
I want it to be known.
Yeah.
Let's be it's going to sound harsh, but let's be a little more intentional about what we do with our power from here on out. Like, let's take what we've heard from this episode, the amazing things we have been given, and really take that into account of our life, because it could just be one
Yes,
thing.
please.
And then
Please.
imagine you're having this energy, you're aroused, and then you just give it away to someone, and that could have been your moment to get yourself out of financial
Oh,
disparities, could have been your way to a new career opportunity, been a new way to just get yourself together.
that part right there. Stick a pin in it. Stick a fork in it. That part.
So just
And this isn't
power.
something that, when people hear me use the term celibacy or abstinence, they, like we've all been taught, we all think, oh, you mean waiting for, somebody until I get married, until, no, no, no. We're just talking about this on a self-development path. So I don't want anybody to confuse what I mean. Celibacy and abstinence, or just abstaining or withdrawing your sexual energy, doesn't mean you're waiting for the one. Okay. There are people who are married that practice this ancient wisdom. Okay. You can be in a relationship practicing. You can call Tyrone, just not right now. Okay. He can wait. You can call Mike, just not right now. Right. Because you need your pussy right now. All right.
Mm.
I just, oh, no, no, oh, I know, yeah, we can come over. Oh no, yeah. Just not right now. Just you need you right now, and that's all that means. And however
Mm-hmm.
long that is, you are
Yes.
just with you right now. So,
And I think a good segue as we start to wrap up, y'all.
mm,
Ooh, I need to take a pause for this because
let's take an orgasmic pause and just go, ah,
yes.
yeah, I like that one. Ooh, that was
It's
good.
so
That
funny
was
because
a
I
good
am
release.
so not like that, but that's such a good thing. And I think
Yeah,
also putting yourself out there and doing things like that, but really
yeah,
opens yourself up more. And also, what I was taking the pause for was, I know a lot of people hate when self-development people are like, take time for yourself. Oh, I'm lonely, I don't
yeah,
want to take time for myself. It's
yeah.
not the means of distancing yourself from people to be forced isolation. Is to connect with yourself in that same way you just told us.
Yeah, it's not forever. Like personal development, it obviously is forever, but isolation isn't forever. There are some parts of this journey where you have to isolate. You need to get alone with yourself so you can hear yourself, feel yourself, connect with yourself, your higher self, your lower self, your angels, your ancestors, whatever. That's necessary, but it's not supposed to last forever. And if there are folks who are saying, well, I'm lonely, then this isn't for them. The personal development journey and activate, we don't want those people activating this power, because those are the ones that are the toxic ones, right? Okay, you're right. You're right. Don't do it. It's not for you, because no one should have to tell you. This is something that you automatically will do. It comes with the territory, and it's not forever. So
Yeah, and also too, when you go through this path, I'm sure you can attest or just think back to some times where you had those thoughts of like, dang, maybe I should just text her. I want to be in the presence of this person. And then you just have that thought of like, what is more important right now? Me
yeah,
or this
yeah,
moment of company, this moment of
yeah.
companionship, this moment of intimacy?
Both.
It,
So I mean, just devil advocate here, right? Depending on
yes.
where you are in your journey, depending on where you are, right? Once you're activated and you're integrated, like, meaning you know who you are, what your purpose is, why you come to this planet, you know your powers, right? You have control of, I don't say control of yourself, but you have self-control, you're emotionally
Mhm.
intelligent, you're mentally healthy, you've got your back, right? You know what you want, what you're not wanting. You might call, you might return that call, you might take him up on that date. You might, because now you know yourself and you know how to navigate yourself.
Come
Does that make
on.
sense?
Come
So
on.
it if you know that you're not in your power yet, you know that you
Mhm.
are easily swayed. If you, yeah, whatever that is, you're mentally weak, okay? Then don't call that yet. You're not ready yet, you know? Call when you have, not self-control, but call when you know yourself. Call
Mhm.
back when you know yourself. Take them up on that date. Have a good fucking time. Go out, dance until you sweat, and then go home. Okay?
Wow, this, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't even want to end. Like, this is such a powerful conversation that is really raw and it's really transparent. It's a lot of things we said that people are afraid to say. And even when it comes to me on more of the sexual topics, that's not my forte. That's not going to be my first thing to talk about. But these things need to be discussed and you need to be in full totality with yourself, because until you reach that point, you're never going to be on your aligned path. You're never going to reach ascension. You're never going to reach your awakening. So this
Yeah.
was amazing. Please, if you have any piece of advice or any last minute things that you're called to say, like, please, the floor is yours. Let us know.
Hmm. The fact that you're here, whoever's listening to this, is an alignment for you. You
Mm,
wouldn't have come here if you weren't meant to hear this. You wouldn't be here if you weren't ready to hear this. So you may have been questioning yourself and your path and what you're here to do. Some of what y'all are here to do is not considered the norm.
mm,
And we need you to do it, because we can't do this alone. Deisha cannot do this alone. I can't do this alone. We need you. We need you to come out of hiding. Okay.
mm.
All of us have been hiding. I was too. And hiding kept me, and is keeping you, like it kept me, depressed and stuck, stagnant, broke, financially broke, mentally broke, emotionally broke. It's keeping you unhealthy. Okay. Keeping you broken. So come out of hiding. Know that you're not alone. You're not going to be killed this lifetime. Nobody's going to come for you. And if they do, they're just coming with words. They can't do anything else because you're not alone this time. This information is not new to you. You are remembering. I'm here as confirmation. Daisha is here as confirmation. You are remembering why you've come. That's it.
Ashe.
Ashe. Asheo.
Woo! Woo!
Asheo.
Ooh, that resonated with me. Sometimes you just need to also be reminded of things, even if you feel like you're on the path, or even if you feel like just keep yourself open. You're never, the wise man knows he knows nothing at all.
Mm.
So understand,
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of people talking, there's going to be a lot of information, there's going to be a lot going on, but just keep your eyes open, your ears open, just be open to things, open to learn new things about yourself. And just, I hope you guys took this episode and you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it, because wow, so many things that just resonated, so many things that had me think. This was a pleasure. Like, I don't even think I can verbally explain how grateful and how thankful I am to even have you as a guest. Like, y'all, I reached out to her and I was like, I'm just gonna send this email. I don't know if she's gonna respond. And
Yeah.
just thoroughly blessed that you even felt like we aligned, because I really do put you at a high regard, and I really do respect what you're doing. That's not a joke. That's not a lie. That's just wholeheartedly me. So please continue pushing. I know you are pushing. I know you have your own life. You're extremely busy. So your word is touching people. You see that every day. You see it as your platform grows. So just like a message from me to you, you're amazing. You're deserving of all your blessings. So much abundance is coming your way. Like, you're going to, so not even 2 months, I'm gonna say 2 weeks from now, you're going to be looking back saying, this was all worth it. This was all a part of the plan. This was all for me to get here. I can't wait for you to have that mountain moment where you're just looking down and you're like, I made it. I'm here. All of this was for me to reach this moment, because you so deserve that.
Girl, I got chill bumps right now. You don't even know. I received that. Thank you so much.
Of
Thank you for
course,
this.
of course, of
For
course.
that.
So
And I've
please,
enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this. Thanks for having me.
no worries. So please let everyone know where
Yeah.
to find you. Of course, I'm
Reach
linking
out to Daisha if you want to find me. You got to get, well, to get to me, you got to get through her. Okay.
everything.
So, I'm sure you have like a site, landing
Yeah,
page?
so your links will be in the description box, but you could just tell
Okay.
them a little bit more
All
about
right.
everything that will be put in the description box.
Yes. So, guys, if you are interested in podcast type of stuff, if you like to listen in on this type of stuff and dive deep, then you can listen and chime in over on YouTube, Alcheminity. Also, should I spell that for folks? Some folks get it from Dacia's landing page, okay? Alcheminity on YouTube. Where else am I? I'm on Instagram. You can follow me there at Timmesha Burgess, and also follow Alcheminity. And you can visit my website, timmeshabburgess.com. And if you go to my Instagram, there's a Linktree link there. You can click on it. It'll take you everywhere I am. It's so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That will
that's
be
it.
right in the description box, you guys. And of course, if you are wanting to support a Black author, if you are wanting to awaken yourself, I will be linking her book down below as well. Maybe we can even slide that for a book club. I would be so down. I'm very, very interested on reading that. So definitely keep tuned. Keep posting, you guys. Maybe that'll be really our first book club book. I would actually enjoy that. Um, yeah, so this was P Power. No
Woo!
Please take your pain, turn it into power, and use that pussy power to your advantage. Okay? This was another episode of Barbie Talks. I am your real and raw Barbie. Give me everything real and raw. And if you have enjoyed this episode, of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Comment down below a little kitty emoji or an eagle emoji so we know that you made it this far and you are
Mm.
aligned with us. Of course, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, just favorite this episode, show us some love on Instagram, both of us, and on YouTube. Thank you guys so much, and bye. It's a pleasure.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that was powerful.
So yummy.